edition. This week, we're going to give you a little bonus episode, and we are going to talk. Hopefully, I am not able to do this. We've been fortunate to be in the playoffs most years. This year, we're not, so I figured I would pick a game of interest, which is pretty difficult this week in Arizona because AIA did a fantastic job, I think, expanding the 4A and 5A playoffs. There was a ton of really cool matchups, I thought, last week, and there's a ton of really good matchups this week. There was saw somebody on Twitter, I believe it was a former Sierra Linda coach, Ty Pryor, who made the note that those 4A 9, 24, 10, 23 games are kind of like the NCAA tournament the first week, in that there was some big upsets and some cool stuff in there. There was some really, really good action. Open tournament starts this week. The play-in open, Arizona kind of doing it interesting. They took and 6A in Arizona is really, really, really good. I spent Friday night watching a lot of 6A games. I watched Hamilton Chandler. What a game. Really kind of a bummer to see Hamilton's quarterback go down. Watched Highland and Mountain View. Great, great game. A lot of fun to watch both those teams. Extremely well coached. Big fake punt at the end of the ball game by Highland that was really well executed. Mountain View finds a way to win it in 2 overtimes. Love what Mountain View does in their quarterback run game. Really well coached team. I coached against Andy Litton when I was at Poston Butte. He's been really, really successful everywhere he's gone, so that was a fun one to watch as well. Watched a little bit of Red Mountain and Queen Creek. Red Mountain, always fun to watch. Queen Creek always plays really, really hard. And Red Mountain's, I believe it's their student body that runs their games on Friday night, and they do such a fantastic job. The production value of some of these games that are streamed on YouTube is really, really quite impressive. So kudos to them, but lots of really good games that were options to break down. This week you got Mountain View Centennial 8-9 game. Winner goes on to the Open to play Hamilton. Loser goes into the 6A tournament. Should be interesting there. A lot of really, really good games. But the game that I chose to break down is in the 4A conference, and it's because I know we were able to play both of these teams. When you hear a matchup of 4 versus 20, because 20 upset 13 in the first round, when you hear a matchup of 4 versus 20, you're thinking, why would you pick that one? Not maybe a great matchup, but I got to tell you, this is a dynamite matchup in 4A with the 4-seeded Mohave squad with Joe Yoni, just an amazing quarterback, a senior group that has been at Mohave. A lot of those guys have been on varsity all 4 years when Mohave went down to 3A and really tore it up. I think they've won the last 2 or 3 region titles in 3A. We're the 4-seed overall, finishing 8-2. That tells you how good the Grand Canyon region, which we competed in this year, was. The 3 and 4 seeds in the entire state are in that region. But Mohave, excellent, excellent football team. Really good defensive line. Ton of good things to break down. Excited about looking at them. And they're playing a team that we played week 3 and certainly got better as the season went on. I think, again, a quarterback that's one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Arizona at the 4A level or any level at Northwest Christian. So I think this is a matchup that is certainly worthy of looking at, and I broke down a couple things, and we're going to look at a few things on that matchup. Just a little bonus episode. We'll do this weekly. This is not changing our outlook for Season 3. Still really, really excited for Season 3. We've had a couple episodes already come out that people seem to really enjoyed with ADs, talking about what a coach can do in the interview process. We have a few more coming out in Season 3 that are on with strength coaches, establishing your strength program. Obviously, when you get a head football job, probably one of the most important things you can do. So we have a couple episodes coming out with the head strength coach at Yuma Catholic, head strength coach at ACP. Also looking to line up a few more coaches on that, strength coaches, and kind of get their input there. That's been a lot of fun to do. And we will parlay that into Season 4 will be those type of episodes. We'll do some playoff preview episodes, including this one today. And we will also kind of ping-pong that into Season 4, which we're calling Season 4 Cut Up Corner. Already got some commitments from guys that'll want to be on the show. And basically what Cut Up Corner will be, you'll take any concept you want. Could be offense, could be defense. And you'll kind of show us everything you did through the year in that concept. Already had a few coaches that we've reached out to that sounded excited to talk about that. I think most coaches probably when the season ends kind of give yourself a measure of what was productive, what worked, what didn't, put all those things into cut-ups. When something didn't work, what was the reason? I think that's always really important in looking for improvement is what are the things that maybe a defense did to stop something or vice versa, an offense did to hurt you on a concept you use defensively. But any coaches that are interested in that, please contact me, Cody.Collett, Collett, at PrescottSchools.com. We would love to have you on to talk about that stuff. That would be a lot of fun. I know I enjoy learning. And again, coaches, I can't say this enough. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the button right now. Subscribe on YouTube. The only reason that we're doing this is to help reach more coaches. I've been fortunate 26 years coaching high school football, and I know there's a teacher shortage, and from what I gather, there's not quite as many young coaches either. So I think it's our job to help that process along. If there's anything we can do to help the next generation of coaches, I think that we should do it. So that's the main reason for the show, is to kind of pass on knowledge to people, and hoping that guys are willing to do that, and we can do that more if we have more subscriptions on YouTube and you like and all that type of stuff. So had pretty good viewership on a lot of episodes, but hoping that you can hit that like and subscribe button. Remember, Blue and Gold Gridiron Show is brought to you by School Funder. School Funder, the only online fundraising company in America, lets you keep all of the money your team raises. You wouldn't willingly give away 20% of your wins. Why are you willingly giving away 20% of the proceeds your team earns in fundraisers? Contact them at School Funder. That's SCHOOLFUNDR.org, and let them know that the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show sent you, as it will help the show. They do an excellent job. We've used them for 2 years. Do a really, really nice job with their fundraising stuff. We're going to hop into now talking about this matchup between the Mohave Thunderbirds and the Northwest Christian Crusaders. Both really well coached. Dave Innes, I believe, is the longest tenured coach in 4A. He has been Northwest Christian 17 years. I believe won 2, possibly 3 3A state championships because of their great success in their program. They were moved up to 4A. They've done a great job being in 4A. Been a playoff team every single year. This year, just an unbelievable offense. They do a great job on offense. They're very fundamentally sound on defense. Do a lot of things really well. And Mohave, like I said, has a group that has been together for 4 years now, and it is a really talented group led by their quarterback, Joe Yoni, who, I'll tell you, if you have not, college coaches, checked his video out, the kid is incredibly talented, huge dual threat type of kid, so I would certainly recommend getting on him. And a very, we played them up at their place this year. One of our coaches got to chat with him after the game. Really impressive young man as well. So gonna break down some of the stuff there, and hopefully you enjoy it. And then each week we'll pick kind of a game. We're going to start with Mohave, and we're going to start by looking at some of them offensively. They do a lot of things really, really well here. Quick ball out there into the flat. These little stack squeeze. They'll use both these stack and squeeze formations. This is what I would call a squeeze set, where you get these two receivers in here, kind of create some space on the outside. Okay. They'll also do some stuff where they stack and they force you to make a decision whether you're going to move that alley player. Really, really do a good job schematically, but also just their weapons. And like I said, it starts with this quarterback here, who is the definition of a dual threat here. Kind of a fade or smash type concept there. Quick ball into the flat, and they throw a touchdown there. But talented team, and do a lot of really, really good things. This is where this guy gets dangerous, and we even tried to spy him, and it was a lot easier said than done. He's a guy that can get out of the pocket and make some plays and hurt you. Also have a strong running game. They're able to do some things. I know they've had some injuries and different things here, just kind of barreling it in here for the sneak, but really talented football team that can definitely do some things here in the tournament. Here you got Yoni again. Can't give him this much time. He has too much time to throw the ball here, which we found out we were going to try to cover a little bit, and that can be difficult on him. He makes a good play here, stiff arms us, and scrambles for 3. Like I said, he does some really, really good things with his feet here. Okay, a lot of spread formations, little outside zone read. They do a good job getting the edge here on this, loading a bit here, so we will move on here. But like I said, talented football team, a lot of good skill players that they have. And another thing that I think when you're talking about going down the street, I'm not sure the home field is as big a deal, but I can tell you we've played a lot of teams, really nice job here. We've played a lot of teams that do, when you have that have to come up to us, and we're at 5,200 feet, our home record is very, very good. Even this year, we averaged a ton of points. I think we were close to in the 40s at home through the 5 games and did not average nearly as much on the road. And part of that is because it's statistically proven when you take a big, long trip, there's things that can happen here that you don't play as well when you're on a bus for 2-3 hours. And Northwest Christian having to make the trip up is an advantage, I think, for them. Interesting little formation here, kind of a little switch verticals concept. In between the inside receivers, they run the speed out here. They get out here. Safety is over the top. Okay, kind of has to force him to make a move here and deciding what he wants to do. Great ball by Yoni, and they get it in there for a touchdown. Difficult for me to relive some of these, but want to kind of show you how dangerous this football team can do. Again, you get good pressure on them. Okay? Defensive end, great swim move there. Beats the left tackle pretty badly here, but this is the stuff you just can't teach when this guy makes you right. Okay, he makes you right. We were trying to spy him, but you got to really almost commit 2 guys, and it's difficult to do that. They have so many weapons all over the place. You can't end up committing yourself to 2 guys here, but he ends up, we get real good pressure on the passer, and he scrambles for 19. So a little lax with that football. That could be something I'm sure Coach Innes and them are talking about being able to do on that end. But again, you'll see a ton of these plays where he gets forced out of the pocket and he's able to make something happen. That's such an advantage when you have a quarterback. A lot of these, like I said, I picked out a lot of these scrambles because these are things, and last year we were 10-2, and as I predicted, Uriah Tenez had a good start to his career as a New Mexico Lobo, had 15 points in his first college game. We were on the receiving end of this last year. There was plays that broke down, and he'd go make something happen. And this is such a big advantage. The thing about it is, though, is Northwest Christian, as you'll see when we get to their film, can do this stuff as well. A lot of trip stuff here. Little wheel action there. Good ball. Not necessarily in terrible coverage position, but they make a play on us. See some more of their stuff here. Little zone action. They got some kids, they really play hard. Goes to show you only need 11 on the field at a time. I think they dressed out 24. Dressed out more in their lower level game, but dressed out 24 kids and are one of the best teams in 4A. A definite threat, I would say, in there. I want to get to some other stuff on them here. This is against Bradshaw Mountain, who's the 3 seed, so you know this is an excellent football team here. Again, he has a lot of time. One of the things about it is some of you guys are going, well, get pressure on him. Bradshaw here, really well coached, didn't want to get a lot of pressure either because he just has a tendency to make this type of stuff happen. Big scramble there for 15. Kid is so talented. So talented. Like I said, put a lot of these scrambles in here so you can kind of see how effective he is when he gets out of the pocket and is able to do something here. Another scramble is, like I said, a little bit lax with the football there. I'm sure Coach Olvera will be coaching him up on that stuff, but such a dangerous football player here. They love that post wheel action out of trips. Okay, and he makes a little scramble there. Again, another play. All these scrambles you see, these are not inconsequential plays. These are 19-yard plays here. 20-yard scrambles here. This is one of the best plays I think he made all season. I was watching this film. We were getting ready to play them, and I was like, oh, man, this is going to be tough. All right, you see him here, almost gets sacked, avoids the sack, throws a touchdown. That is stuff that's difficult to teach. That is an extremely, extremely talented young man there that, just a great, great football play there. A couple other things here. They obviously get out here, run some zone read. They have some kids that'll run downhill. They do a good job doing things. A really, really good job. But an impressive football team nonetheless. We'll go back here to the library here and check out a little bit of Mohave defensively. Really, really good team on defense as well. All right. Going to get into here on them on defense here, show a couple of things. And this was like kind of a turning point here. They had one pick six against Coconino, who plays Bradshaw Mountain, another really, really good team in our region. Coconino plays in Flagstaff, which is, I think, 7,500 feet, but it's way the heck up there. So lost a close one here. I know they had some injuries that week and some different things. That's the thing about 4A this year. There was no bye. So these teams that didn't get a bye in this first round, like Coconino is an excellent team, but this is their 12th straight week of football. That's a difficult deal here. All right, concept down the field, and big interception there. Some really, really talented skill players for this Mohave football team. The ability to get some pressure on the passer, obviously not a great snap there, but these defensive linemen are big and physical, and they will get after you here. Coconino actually was the recipient on this particular one. There was an interception that Mohave had where the quarterback, I believe, Joe Yoni, which we just showed, had a 100-yard or 95-yard kickoff, or an interception return, pick six for a touchdown that ends up getting called back. Obviously a big turning point in this game, but this team here, little even front action, really, really talented team. There's that pick again you see. I think this is a team that is definitely a dangerous football team. Even though they're the 4 seed, I don't know that I would necessarily say that they are the favorite in this game. I think this is a pick'em type of game. This is a game I could really see going either way here. Now we're going to break down Northwest Christian a little bit. Talk about them a little bit. Excuse me here as I hop on over here. Northwest Christian, always really, really well coached on both sides of the ball. An excellent, excellent offensive team. And similar in that they are so well coached and so dangerous on both sides. This quarterback can make plays with his feet. They do a good job in their fast screens, as you'll see right here, but they're very balanced. They can run the ball, they can throw the ball. Excellent football team here. And we're going to analyze some of them on offense here. These fast screens, if you give them that opportunity, and I know you'll see a lot of cover 3, a lot of corners off a little bit from Mohave. I think this is something you'll see early in the game, particularly because the defensive line for Mohave is very salty. So I think you'll see some fast screens and some different stuff trying to make those guys get out and run. We played them last year, and they hit this T-rail on us. They do a really good job whenever you get the ball into the boundary. They're looking to throw that rail route, which has become so popular, so ubiquitous, so to speak. You see this a lot on Saturdays, this rail route here. They do a really good job with this. I lost my mind. They did this on the last drive against us here. Gets it a little late. I think if he'd have maybe thrown that early, he'd had a chance there for that. Doesn't get completed there, or it does get completed, but not to the intended target. But they do a nice job with their rail route stuff. One of the things they added, I thought they did a nice job last year whenever they had a Y or fullback in the backfield there. You saw a lot of runs. They did a better job, I think, of kind of mixing that up here. Always run very crisp routes at receiver. They have a number of dangerous weapons, too. They don't just have one guy that they're always going to. They have some good things here. Here you see a little stretch action out of this formation with this squeeze look, kind of bringing in, again, creating space out here. Really nice job right out here, getting down the field, blocking. You see that's excellent. Gotta love that. Good football. Back gets out there. They create a nice lane. This is a really difficult football team to stop. Zone bubble here you're going to see. And he pulls that thing. Hey, talking about it here. Triple option football, folks. Triple option football. They got right here in the box. They're running zone. They're going to read the edge, and they got a bubble out here. So in the old days, you had dive, quarterback, pitch. Now you got the dive element here on zone. You got the pitch or throw out here for the bubble. And obviously this quarterback can make plays. This guy makes it right out here. Now he's looking to the bubble as he gets out here. You can see kind of this guy's a little bit of no man's land. He could have maybe thrown the bubble here. All right, but this guy, hard to argue here how talented he is with the football in his hands. Gets vertical and gets up the field quickly and gets that thing into the end zone there. Really, really dangerous team. Fun team to watch schematically, too. Try to maybe get coach on. Both their head coach does a good job on defense. Their offensive coordinator does a great job. Maybe try to get those guys on to talk a little ball, though we do play them again next year, so they might not be receptive to that, but if they are, I'd love to have them on. Okay, you get the verts and the outs. They do a nice job. Great ball there. I mean, that thing is very nice, on time, excellent throw. Really hard to stop when the quarterback's on time. Also a kid that's difficult to sack because he makes so many plays with his feet, but also he does such a good job throwing the football here. I mean, this thing is just 1, 2, 3, out. Ball's out there. All right, they run a snag concept. A lot of people call that here, where you're going to get this guy sitting down in here. You're going to get a swing route here. You're going to have the alley. You have the high-low. They're stretching you vertically with the high-low, with the in this case, the bubble and the corner route. And they're stretching you horizontally here with the bubble and this what we called a snag route here. So difficult, really good concept. And that's a great football. Does a good job getting that thing on them. Little curl concept here. You'll see everything is on time. They do such a nice job with so many things. See another stretch here. You know, one of the things they added, they started running counter, and you know I love me some counter. They did a good job adding that. They were a big zone team the last few years, and they did a very good job, I think, adding counter into their repertoire here. Love this play. What we call eyes abs, kind of a combination fold and ISO. A lot of people would say this is in the power family. You're going to get a base block out here. You're going to get a double team. You're going to get the fullback lead, and you're going to get this backside guard pulling, both inserting. I think Kenny Simpson might call this bubble. All right, but good-looking football play right down Main Street, and they do a nice job right there. Like I said, this team is a team that is so versatile and so balanced. All right, a little more with that stretch action. They get in the end zone, but this is a football team, really, really good, runs solid routes, do so many things well. This is a game that really, and we play both of them next year, so I don't think I'm going to go out and give them any bulletin board material for the 26th season and make a prediction. But the one prediction I will make, I think this game comes down to the fourth quarter. I think it will be, you will see this football game, not the average 420 matchup. And that was the thing about 4A this year, football in Arizona, is there was such an exciting conference to watch, because 4A football in Arizona this year, there were so many teams. There was guys doing the rankings that were like, I don't know how you rank anybody, because they do such a good job. Everybody's beating each other. Double move action here from them. They have definitely caught us. We've played them the last 3 years, had some barn burners them the last 3 years. Little double move action. This is definitely something you got to work when you're playing this Northwest Christian team. 64-yard touchdown here, especially because they're going to throw some fast screens. They're going to throw those curl routes. They're going to throw those comebacks. Then they hit you with a double move for a touchdown. So this is a game that I think you're going to see be a heck of a game. Let's see here on rail. Oh, yep. They get the ball into the boundary. They love to run this rail route. They end up scrambling here. So I think Independence, well-coached team too. I might have had him there a little late, but like I said, he gets to make a play there. They get that ball into the boundary, and they love to be able to run that rail route. But some interesting stuff here. Pistol yak. You're going to have 2 slants and an arrow. get that thing. This is a great play on the goal line. This is something we need to do a little bit more of because you see a lot of man on the goal line. You get those natural rubs. This guy trying to run across the field just can't do it. Really a tough deal that way. A little bit more Northwest Christian stuff, then we'll get into watching some of their defense, and we'll call it an episode here for this bonus episode here. Them. All right, 592, which is what we call hitch. A lot of people call that two route a slant. Oh, another snag concept. They do this snag route really, really well. Again, love about this, stretching you vertically, stretching you horizontally. Hey, they got the snag from number one. They got the corner from number two. They got a swing, or in this case, a bubble. So they're stretching you both ways. All right, as you can see here, now the previous one, they hit that deep shot on the corner. In this case, they're looking at this alley player here. This guy runs out on the bubble, opens that window inside for that. Excellent football there. And like I said, you got a senior quarterback. I don't know how many yards he's thrown for in the last 2 years, but I will bet you it's 5,000 to 6,000 yards he has thrown for. A really talented kid. Little zone bubble there, which again, forcing you to play the entire football field. Get out there, good throw, good catch. Only a gain of 3 here, but that'll open things up later in the game. You got a smash, you got the post. Oh, just incomplete there. All right, and again, got to be able to make you right. When the kid can make you right, because he can scramble and make a play with his feet, that's a dangerous, dangerous deal, and that is a young man that certainly can do that. All right, see if we got any more here. Counter here. Oh, yeah, I want to see him run a little counter. They added this year, and this one gets shut down a little bit, but they didn't run a lot of counter previously, and I think they've done a good job with their counter game. Kind of like the formation here, moves this guy a little bit out of the box, and then they're running counter inside. But real good team. Another example of a counter with a little orbit, kick, wrap, lead up. Something that they added to their repertoire. Big zone team in previous years, but have done a nice job this year in adding little goal line package, which is definitely difficult to prepare for. They get in those old Mountain View Toro 4-man line here, the 4-point stances. And they try to run you over. Back sneak action. Versatile football team. Really impressed them. Going to look at some of their stuff defensively. Also a team, they do an excellent job on defense. Play a lot of quarters. Very sound, fundamentally sound, 3-4 type of football team. But a very impressive football team is this Northwest Christian Crusader team. And the reason they got upset a little bit early, this is a team that played a brutal schedule. Every week they played a tough ball game pretty much. And this is a team that I think is battle tested there. All right. And they will do a little bit of this kind of quarters. Well, I'll be interested to see if Mohave tries to do some things in this regard, because they'll play quarters, but they'll move this safety over in their quarters in the trips look, which I talked a little bit about Tyler French about. It was an adjustment that he's seen in the trips world when you're playing some quarters coverage. Interested to see if Mohave does anything in that regard here. Really nice job there of playing that, and they that was a run called there, but they end up playing both here. Okay, like I said, you'll see a lot of quarters, very fundamentally sound. I bet you'll see some underneath throws, some fast screen type throws from Mohave as well, and very nice job here. Anytime you're in zone coverage, they're only bringing 4 here. All right, they bring the Sam off the edge, which forces you to be sound in your protection. You never kind of know who's coming. All right, and then you end up with 4 guys out here with their eyes to the quarterback. All right, eyes to the quarterback. All right, anytime you got that and you're in that zone situation, you can step in front of that and make interceptions, which they do here. Big play. This is a little of them in their prevent towards the end of the half. But they're do a good job situationally. Excellent football team. Really impressed with Northwest Christian, and I got to tell you, this is going to be a really good matchup. Like I said, I'm not going to go out on a limb and make a prediction because we got to play both of them again next year. Played both of them this year, but this is an underrated game in the Arizona State playoffs. this week. I think this is a game that anybody that gets out there to watch this one is going to be highly entertained for 4 quarters. I think this is a really, really good football game. We'll be back next week. We'll get into some strength coach discussions. And like I said, if you're interested in being on the show, please hit me up. Cody.Collett, CODY.COLLETT at PrescottSchools.com. Only goal of the show, help coaches, help reach more coaches, and get as much information out there as possible. So please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this one. Head out to a playoff game. I was talking about this on Twitter too. I don't know if there is a better value anywhere than high school football. I'm talking about anywhere. You get ticket prices for stuff now. They're insane. All right, you can still go watch a high school football game, get some high-quality entertainment for 2 to 3 hours for probably around $10. And that is pretty cool. So get out there wherever you are watching. Get out there and watch some high school football this week, and we will see you next week for another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show.